am doing a beef bone broth fast. I'm doing 3 days just to kind of repair my body. There's a ton of benefits to it, so I highly recommend YouTubing it or Googling it to find some more information and benefits on it if you're curious. But yeah, I kind of just slacked off a little bit in the holidays, and I just feel like my body needs to reboot, reset, kind of clean my body out, and then repair a lot of my gut and just kind of get myself functioning again and back on track. So I definitely also recommend, if you're gonna do a fast with this longer than a day, to let people know, let someone know, maybe even let your doctor know if you have that kind of relationship, just so that someone's aware, and in case you don't feel good at some point or anything weird like that. It's definitely kind of a challenge to go for a long period of time, but it can also be really freeing, and I think just doing 1 day to start out would be a great thing as well. But like I said, I'm trying to do, my goal is, I'm doing at least 3 days. I would love to do 4, but I'm kind of just shooting for 3 days right now. So I've already done a day, and I kind of wanted to just show you guys how to make it and go over it. So you're going to want to get your crock pot. You're going to want to make it homemade. I know you can buy some, but homemade is really the best way to do it. So I find my beef bones at Whole Foods. You could probably find them at farmers markets or any kind of natural markets. But I got mine at Whole Foods, and you can buy the actual bone. Normally you want like the ligaments, the feet, anything. I find that the beef is better than if you did like the chicken. However, don't think that like that's not a good one as well. But the beef bone has a lot of other benefits that's a little bit different from those. So I just stick with the beef bones. I got them at Whole Foods. I actually have one that I'm gonna add into my pot. So I'll go ahead and get that just to show you guys. I did transfer it over into a Ziploc, but this is my last bone that I have left, so it's literally just the bone. And so I put about 3 bones in here. You can put 4, you can put more, but I only had 4. And after about 2 days or a day and a half, that's kind of where I'm at, you can go ahead and add in another bone or 2 just to kind of keep it fresh and to make sure that you're getting all of the benefits from those bones. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to first get your crock pot, and I always use the 0 water filter. This is what it looks like. You can find them in a lot of places. So you want just either reverse osmosis water, or like I said, I use this 0 water filter, and you're going to fill it up almost all the way, but leaving a little bit of space at the top because it will boil. And then go ahead and just throw your bones in there. Like I said, 3 or 4 bones, and then turn it on high for 4 hours. And then after the 4 hours, you're gonna want to turn it back down to low, and you're gonna want to make sure that it sits for at least like 24 hours before you actually start consuming the broth or doing your fast. So you also, before I go on, you want to add, let me see the exact measurements before I tell you guys. I actually have a whole packet here from my doctor's when I did it. This is my 3rd time doing it. And so yeah, you want about 3 to 4 quarts of the purified water, and then 2 to 4 tablespoons of the sea salt. So I use this Himalayan sea salt. Could be Celtic sea salt, but you want to definitely add some of that in. And then I use Bragg's apple cider vinegar, which you're going to want about, let's see, I believe a tablespoon of that in there when you first put it all together. And what the apple cider vinegar does is it really pulls out all of the nutrients and benefits from those bones, and it pulls it out into the broth. The broth will get a little bit oily, but that's just how it is. I think it's good. And you don't want to add any whole onions or garlic or anything like that. You really just want the broth. However, you can add some seasonings, but you want them in powder form, so like organic onion powder or garlic powder. Yeah, just any kind of like seasonings or herbs that you want. I just kind of do it as is. I don't really care for the seasoning. Sometimes I put seasonings in. It's really personal preference. And then you're just gonna cook that for 24 hours, like I said, and then you can start your fast or start consuming the broth. And over the 3 days, or if you just do it a day, it's gonna be a little different. But if you're doing it for a longer period, like I'm doing 3 days, every time you pour some out into the mug, you always want to replace it with the purified water. And then at each new day, or even if you drink a lot that day, you're going to want to do another splash, just a splash of the apple cider vinegar and a little bit of the sea salt in there, just to kind of keep it fresh and making sure that it can break down all the benefits and stuff from the bones. So like I said, I'm on a day, yeah, it's pretty much been 1 day, so I'm going to go ahead and put this one in here. I just want it to be a little fresher. Add another bone, I have it, so I'm going to let that in there. Just to show you guys what it looks like, this is my pot. You can see there's going to be a little bit of like this fat and meaty bits. Here are my bones in here. You can see them in here. You can take out the meaty bits once you do it, some of the meat, and just put that into Ziploc or even a glass container or jar and save that, because that'll be a great thing to use when you finish your fast to cook with it. And also, once you're done, completely done with the fast, you're gonna want to keep all of the excess broth. I toss the bones, but I keep the broth, and then there's some fat that comes from it, like I just showed you guys. And so you're gonna wanna keep that and either put it in a glass jar and put it in the freezer and pull it out. You're gonna have some broth that you can drink on for the next little bit. And you're definitely coming right off the fast. It's very important what you eat breaking your fast. And so I think it's good to have this broth, and I actually cook with it a little bit, or I use a lot of the fat to cook with coming off of the fast specifically. And then, you know, I might stop a little bit and then have it in the freezer and pull it out occasionally. But yeah, I always cook with it, always still consume it after the fast. Try and get it in a little bit, just if you cook some of your veggies in it. And so that goes into, let's talk about what you're going to want to eat when you break the fast. So this is directly from my doctors and what I've done when I break the fast. But if you want to research your own stuff or do your own thing, cool. But I'm just going to kind of put emphasis that it's really important what you eat coming off of this. So definitely start with soft foods that are on the cellular healing diet. So just unsweetened almond milkshakes or plain amasi, which amasi is a type of like probiotic yogurt type thing. You can maybe research it and try and find it. You can do that with a little bit of berries. I'm actually about to go to Whole Foods where they have a kefir. It's kind of like a coconut kefir, which is similar to the amasi yogurt. And I'm going to get that, which has a bunch of really healthy, good probiotics just to kind of build that gut bacteria, putting in the good bacteria in my gut. And I'm going to get a few berries as well. Just stick with the berries. You don't want to fill your body back up with a lot of sugar. You might not even want to eat that for a little bit. I don't know. And then hemp seeds, avocados, steamed vegetables, squash, zucchini, and blended vegetables. And then, yeah, any like fermented vegetables that you want to consume, pretty much it, yeah. So that's it. And typically what I do, I will film it when I'm done so that you can see how I break my fast and what I'm doing. But I'm just going to do some steamed veggies. We have some zucchini in here, so I'll probably just do some zucchini. I don't even really know what other vegetables I'm going to do right now, but I'm just going to do them, just steam them. I might even put a little bit of the broth on them, and then I will get, like I said, this yogurt. It's probiotic. It's like, it's not any type of yogurt, it's a specific one. I can definitely show you that in the video afterwards as well. And like I said, hopefully Whole Foods has it. And then I might do a little bit of the berries with the yogurt and pretty much stick with that for the first few days. And then going on to the next day, you can kind of start your regular cellular healing diet, including some of the grass-fed finished meats. You just want to start really slow. And what I've learned from this is it's like, I've tried to, like, you come off this fast and you're so hungry and you just want to eat, and you're thinking, well, it's still the normal good stuff that I eat anyways, like the meats, and you might eat too much. So really limit yourself, really start slow. I know you might be hungry and so excited to start eating meat again or just normal stuff, but really just stick with soft foods, because there was times where I came off a fast and I kind of went a little overboard, and it really does. For me, it hurts my stomach. I can tell it's just too much, especially coming off of a 3-day fast. Like, my stomach's not going to need that much, and it's going to want just soft, easy things to digest and to kind of get it back into the groove. But yeah, after like a day, you can kind of start back with some of the meats. Just start really slow. Be careful with that. But yeah, so that's the beef bone broth fast. If you have any questions, let me know. It's pretty simple. If anyone else out there is doing the fast even longer, or has any knowledge on it, or want to share information, I would love to hear from you, or at least have some support from somebody as well going forward. Hey everyone, so I just finished my last day of the 3-day bone broth fast. I feel really good. I'm a little bit tired, but other than that, I feel great. I could honestly probably go another day, but I'm not, because I already have all of my bone broth stored. Like I said, it's really good just to keep some in the freezer, and then I have some in the fridge that I'll pull out within the next few days. It only really lasts a few days in the fridge, and I'm gonna cook with it later on, and I'll show you some of my steamed veggies that I do with it and some of the fat that I use from the bone broth. And then how I'm gonna break my fast right now is I have an avocado, and I did just a little bit of sea salt and olive oil just to kind of keep my body in that fat burning mode. And then I also have this coconut kefir. It's kind of like a yogurt with a little bit of coconut oil on there. And so yeah, this is like the sea salt that I use, just the Himalayan sea salt. And then the organic coconut oil, like I said, just keep me in that fat burning mode. And then the organic olive oil that I drizzled on there. And then this is the plain coconut kefir. It's kind of like a probiotic yogurt. It's not the Amasi, but it's the best that I could do. I got it from Whole Foods. It's by Ancient Awakenings. I just didn't want to drive all the way out there. So I got it at Whole Foods. They sell it in, I think, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Georgia at several different stores. You can check them out on their website as well. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna break the fast, and then later on I can show you some of the other stuff that I do, and then the broth and how I kind of incorporate that throughout the day and the next few days as well. So I am steaming some broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, and zucchini right now. So that's what it looks like. I'm just steaming it with some purified water from the Zero Water filter, and then I'm going to put them into a saucepan and add a little bit of the broth and some of the bone broth fat to cook them just a little bit, add a little flavor, and then I'm gonna use a little bit of the organic olive oil, and then this is the butter that I use, which will be really good fats as well. It's the Kerrygold butter. Grass-fed. It doesn't have to be Kerrygold, but definitely a grass-fed butter. So I'm just gonna keep it really simple, start really slow, but that is what I'm preparing for a little bit later. Might not eat it all. Don't feel like you need to eat a lot. After I steam my veggies, I put them into this pan here, and I just cooked it with a little bit of the bone broth and the fat. And then, as you can tell, it has a little bit of flavoring. I added some turmeric, which was just a seasoning that I had. You can find that at a lot of places. And then I'm going to add in my Kerrygold butter and just let that melt on top. And I'm just leaving it at that. I did add a little sea salt in there as well.